Okay, so this is take two. So welcome back to my channel, guys. My name is Jaksham Kemara. I am a visual artist based in Shillong, and today we're going to be talking about the 5 things that you should never do when you are shooting a music video. Yeah, before I start the video, I just want to say that I've actually come up with these points because over time, when I've been working on music videos for almost 5 years now. These were mistakes that I have made over my career back in the days, and I felt that I would just share it with you guys. So let's get into it. So the first thing that you should never do when a client approaches you for a music video shoot is never take the project lightly. Yeah, this is one thing which is very important, because a lot of times there'll be a lot of projects coming to you. A lot of those projects might be from clients who are pretty socially popular, and then the clients who are basically just starting out. If you're a person who understands the work or believes in their vision and you actually picked up this project, then you should also know that you cannot take this project lightly. Once you've said yes to that project, you're supposed to be the person who's going to deliver completely 100%. Never take the project lightly just because it has a small budget, or even if it has a big budget. Your dedication to that project should be 100% both ways. Never just take that project lightly. This is one thing which is very important, because back in the days I didn't really, as a person who had a camera, I felt that some projects needed more dedication and some projects didn't. So I did feel that I didn't dedicate my 100% to some of my projects back in the days, and I am really guilty of doing that, and I feel I'm regretful, and I really feel that I shouldn't have done that. But over time I have grown to understand that your work is basically your portfolio. You should understand that a lot of people out there are actually looking at your work, and then they are basically judging you based on your work. So you should always know that your tracks or your projects or your portfolio has to stand out. If you want it to stand out, you have to basically accept projects and also deliver the projects in 100%. Never take the project lightly, and that's what I can tell to anybody out there who's starting out and making projects. So the second thing that you should never do when you're actually doing a music video, and that is never go to a music video shoot unplanned. Never do that. Back in the days, as an amateur, I would do a lot of run and guns. The client would set a date, and then I would just wait for that date, and then I would just go with my camera, and then I'll just do random shoots where I felt looked good, and I would just basically come back and then just edit them into a music video. But then I might have been able to exercise my editing skills, but at the end of the day, it was just building a lot of B-rolls and B-rolls. There was no A-rolls. Never go to a shoot without a plan, because at the end of the day, when you do run and gun shoots, a lot of times you're not really exercising your storytelling skills, and basically you don't have the creative outlook of understanding how you might be able to tell this story. A lot of times when you don't have proper guidelines to follow, you basically run and gun it. I'm not saying that you're not supposed to run and gun some shots. Sometimes improvising is good. Sometimes our eyes need to be very quick to detect shots are just basically improvised at the end of the day. A lot of filmmakers would say that as well, but at the end of the day, a proper plan will always set you ahead, 1,000 miles ahead. When I accept a project, maximum of my days actually go into planning, then it goes into the shoot. If we set a shoot of like 4 days or maybe 3 days, then the planning is basically a month ahead. The first meeting is always going to be where you're going to be speaking about the budget and what sort of budget that they're going to put into different categories or different departments, and then you're going to have a proper plan for going to shoot, what you're going to use, what sort of tones you're going to use. A lot of things come into play. Of course, if I dig deep into that, it's just going to be a whole new video, so I'm not going to go deep into that. The most important thing is to shoot with a plan. So now we come to the third, which is never underestimate the power of a teammate. You basically have to understand that you've given the role responsibility to them, because a lot of times if you don't have the trust in your teammates, you basically tend to make the production or the set very uncomfortable, because you don't have sync with the DP, or you don't have sync with the directors, and your mind is not sync with the art directors, the set designers, the costume artists. A lot of times arguments will go about, and then you start backstabbing and stuff like that. I've seen those stuff in the sets, and I'm really regretful. I also took part in some of those, and yeah, I really feel that you should never do that. Never just go about not trusting your teammates. They're chosen by you for a reason, of course. Some roles are better done with different people involved in it, and some people have different expertise. Never underestimate the power of a teammate. The fourth point is actually in relation to the third one, and that is never compromise. So when I say never compromise, I'm not just talking about the shots, I'm not just talking about the project itself, I'm also talking about never compromise on the plan, never compromise on picking a teammate. That is why I'm saying that it's in relation with the third one. The reason why you should never compromise on picking a teammate is because a lot of times, we decide to just randomly pick people to set the role, but doing so is just gonna leave you with a lot of headaches. I'm telling you this because I did that previously, and I thought that if I set the role to a certain person, they might be able to do this. Even when you're deciding to pick a teammate, you have to understand that they respect this project as well, and they're in the sync with you as well. Even their goals in this project is the same, to build the portfolio and then make better work. I can't just give roles to an amateur and then say that I'll be able to trust this amateur. Of course there will be times when some amateurs might be able to deliver the work better than a lot of long-term experienced people. You should always do a background check. You're working for a client, and I'm just saying this because you don't want to spoil an image for yourself, and of course for the client as well. You don't want to make a bad name, because at the end of the day a client is the one funding it, and you don't want to play around with their money. You have to respect that money is coming out of somewhere. The fourth point, and one of the most important of course, is never to compromise on anything. Don't compromise on the plan, don't compromise on teammates, don't compromise on post-production, on anything, basically the costume, anything on set design. If they have the budget for it, get it done. Now we come to the final point. Before that, I want to give a few words on our sponsor. Just kidding, man, we don't have any sponsor, we are self-sponsored. Yeah, before we get into the fifth point, if you feel that this is relatable to you in any way, do give it a thumbs up. I will be actually shooting a music video this coming week. I will be doing the BTS for this shoot as well, so I will be putting it up, and to somebody out there it might just help see the process of how me and my team were able to do this shoot. Stay tuned for that. And now we come to the final point, and that is never go to a music video shoot without the edit in your mind. Never do that. If you're a person like me, I do my own edit. So when I go for the shoot, I'm just thinking about how this scene is going to connect to the next, over and over again, so that the whole story will completely tell itself. So if I don't have that, I'm just gonna go and gun it again. If you're a director and the vision that you've already built in your head, then you should be able to tell it sequentially. You should be able to connect the scenes, the shots already in your mind, so that it's already connected even in the edit later. It's very simple. These are all things that I've basically learned from a lot of my mentors. Back in the days, I didn't really know so much of what I was supposed to do during a shoot. I didn't really know all that stuff. So these are stuff that I basically was able to gather over time. So these are the 5 things that I want to say out of my own experience, and things that I did not do back in the days. I did back in the days. Things that I actually did back in the days that I want to share with you guys, so that anybody who's starting off with music videos don't make the same mistake. Yeah, I hope this was helpful, and if it was, you know what to do. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.